All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Global Perinatal Services presentation on pregnancy, parenting, and beyond. Thank you for attending this session. I'm Denise Felipe, and my colleague, Niha Dillon, and I will be presenting today. Just as a heads up, I want to let you know that we are recording this session, so feel free to turn off your cameras if you don't feel comfortable having your cameras on. And additionally, please have your audio on mute. As Niha and I will be presenting, we will be taking turns monitoring the chat. So feel free to drop in any questions you have throughout the session. And without further ado, we will get started. A little bit about GPS. Global Perinatal Services, formerly known as Somali Northwest Doulas, was founded in 2018 by our Executive Director, Faiza Farole, pictured on the right of your screen. In 2019, the organization changed its name to Global Perinatal Services to demonstrate the expanding refugee and immigrant community we currently serve. Faiza has over 17 years of experience with working within the birthing world. She began as a Somali medical interpreter, often working with women during prenatal and postpartum appointments and during labor and births. And as an interpreter, she was not able to provide any additional birthing advice or recommendations to her clients, and she saw a need within her community due to the high cesarean rates and adverse health effects they were facing. She identified that there were many barriers that made it difficult to receive proper interventions to reduce those outcomes. Faiza worked as a doula and is a licensed midwife, and the demand for Somali doulas were a lot higher than the number of doulas available. And so she trained Somali and other immigrant and refugee women to become trained doulas. And with that, GPS is a woman, immigrant, BIPOC, and midwife-led organization. Our organization is made up of about 30 individuals throughout various programs, and that includes doulas, ASQ administrators, and program coordinators. With that, our organization offers 17 different languages, which we will talk a little bit more about later on in this presentation. A little bit about me and my background. I, again, am Denise Felipe. I am a Filipino-American born and raised in Seattle, and I am the daughter of Filipino immigrants. I'm a graduate of the School of Public Health at the University of Washington. I have a background with working with low-income and immigrant communities in King County and have experience within working the community health center settings. I started working at GPS back in November 2020 as a doula services coordinator. And it was at one of my public health classes at UW that I first learned about maternal and child health disparities that the BIPOC community in King County were facing. And ever since then, it's been a passion of mine to find ways to remove those barriers. And now I'll pass it on to Niha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Niha Dillon. I have been working at GPS for about 7 months now as a child development program coordinator. And a little bit of background about me. I am the daughter of 2 Kenyan Indian immigrants, and I'm fluent in Punjabi and Hindi. And I attended the University of Washington for my undergrad, where I got my bachelor's degree in public health. And then after graduating, I spent a year interning at the Aga Khan University Hospital in Nairobi, where I did work on metastatic breast cancer. And I also created the first cancer registry for the hospital. During my time in Kenya, I found that my passions really lay in global health as well as maternal and child health. So I'm currently working towards my master's in epidemiology from UW, and I plan to continue working towards bringing equity in maternal and child health in the global context. So our mission at GPS is to provide community-based doula services that will educate, respect, and empower low-income refugee and immigrant women, as well as their families during pregnancy, birth, and into early parenting. In addition, GPS has 4 core values. The first is that all pregnant women should have access to exceptional prenatal care. The second is that all pregnant women should be trusted to make choices that they see are best fit for them. The third is that all pregnant women should feel comfortable, respected, and protected by healthcare professionals. And lastly, all pregnant women should have access to continuous, non-judgmental, emotional, physical, and informational support. At GPS, we have two goals. The first is that our doulas guide families through their pregnancy, birth, and postpartum period, thus reducing the risk for medical intervention for both the mother and the child, while providing informational, emotional, and physical support before and after the birth of their child. And the second is to educate low-income refugee and immigrant families, as well as their communities, regarding safe pregnancy, birth, and baby care practices through classes and workshops. So we have a poll question for you guys. How many countries have the clients we serve come from? So the option is A, 11, B, 15, C, 18, D, 20, or E, 23. And we'll give you a moment to complete that. Okay, we'll give about 15 more seconds for everyone to get their answers in. Okay, so I will end the poll now. So yes, you guys got it right. We serve people from about 23 different countries. So this is just a map of everyone we serve. As you can see, we have a very diverse population of individuals that we're able to serve, which makes us a unique organization. We hire community-based staff, meaning our staff serve the community that they themselves are from. So far, GPS has served individuals from the following countries: Mexico, Costa Rica, Honduras, Colombia, Peru, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Egypt, Sudan, South Africa, Zambia, Kenya, Uganda, Somalia, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Syria, India, Cambodia, the Philippines, and we hope to serve many more. GPS is constantly expanding by actively recruiting doulas and ASQ administrators from diverse communities in order to eliminate any barriers our clients may face. Another thing we do is provide educational materials such as infographics to share with our community. The topic of our infographics pertain to issues either clients, doulas, or ASQ administrators identify. And our resources are available in many different languages so everyone is able to access the materials that we produce. So the first one that you can see all the way to your left is a birth plan, and this birth plan is available on our website and anyone can access it. We created a birth plan template to help our clients plan out their labor. A birth plan is a set of instructions the clients make about their baby's birth, and it details how they feel about things they like, which can be anything from wanting to use a birthing pool or wanting to wear your own clothes during delivery. It also talks about who they want during their delivery and what they want to do during their labor. And this can be anything from vaginal delivery or C-section. So creating a birth plan ahead of time really helps the client make decisions about what they actually want during their labor and delivery. And it also lets other people know what their wishes are. And this is a really good resource for when the big day comes, because clients can really focus on what's important to them, which is the birth of their child. So the second infographic highlights preterm signs and symptoms. So there are higher rates of preterm births in the African communities compared to white and Hispanic communities. African women are 14.4% more likely to experience preterm birth, which is about 50% higher than white or Hispanic women, which are 9.3% and 10% respectively. So in order to raise awareness of this issue, we created an infographic on the signs and symptoms of preterm labor. The third infographic you see is contraception options. So our doulas identified that many women in their communities would express interest in not having any more kids, but then shortly after they would become pregnant again. So we wanted to meet our community's needs. So in addition to giving our doulas information about birth control and encouraging them to bring up different contraception options that are available to them, we also created an infographic with all the main hormonal and non-hormonal birth control options our clients can now reference. And our last infographic is on postpartum depression, as well as the signs and symptoms of postpartum depression. So, postpartum depression has become an increasingly alarming issue, especially with the pandemic. So, along with the support groups that we offer, we also highlight postpartum depression and also other postpartum mental health issues like postpartum OCD, postpartum anxiety, and postpartum psychosis on our social media. And the secret word for this session is rise. So we'll give you a moment to take note of it. Okay, great. So now Denise can talk a bit about the programs that we offer at GPS.
Thank you, Neha. GPS offers different programs throughout our organization. Our main programs are the Doula Services Program and the Child Development Program. And first, we'll go over our Doula Services Program. So you might be wondering, what is a doula? Well, doulas are professionals trained in all things childbirth that provide continuous physical, emotional, and informational support to a mother during pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum. The goal of the doula is to help make sure that the mother has a safe, educated, and empowering birthing experience. Some of the impacts of having a doula has shown that positive social and educational support during this time has a tremendous impact on the health and well-being of new mothers and their families. Research shows that women who have doula support have fewer complications such as C-sections, have lower rates of postpartum depression, and are more likely to breastfeed. When a mom receives good support during birth and early postpartum, she's more likely to attach well with her baby, and this decreases the risk of infant mortality and early child abuse and neglect. And also it improves parent-child attachment, since it is an essential element in creating a solid foundation that ensures that the child will thrive in his or her environment and prepare them for kindergarten and beyond. Some benefits of having a doula include reduced medical interventions and costs of perinatal care. Doulas are able to provide education about pregnancy, about birth options, breastfeeding, and positive early parenting. It also increases self-awareness and personal advocacy skills, which set the stage for new mothers to be strong and confident advocates for their children and families. It removes cultural barriers by providing culturally competent links from the community to the healthcare system. And finally, having a doula allows them to provide culturally sensitive, evidence-based practices shown to improve observed parental sensitivity, improve parent knowledge of child social and emotional needs, improve child behavior and stress, and improve child welfare outcomes, including a significant reduction in foster care placements. Currently, GPS offers two different types of doula programs. Our first program is the community-based doula program. This is our long-term doula program where doulas will work with the family until the first year of the child's first birthday of the child and provide up to 100 hours of care. Community-based doulas are childbirth support providers and assist with birthing and parenting experiences. Our community-based doulas provide a minimum of 2 visits per month. We currently have 2 amazing community-based doulas, Asya and Yasmine, and they offer their services in English and Somali. To become a trained and certified community-based doula, they would have needed to complete 20 weeks of training that include 20 sessions that are 4 hours long. And our second program is our birth doula program. This is our short-term program where doulas will work with the client from about the 3rd trimester till about 2 months postpartum. Birth doulas offer labor support, and this includes 2 prenatal visits, a birth and labor visit, and 2 postpartum visits. We currently have 20 certified and trained doulas and offer our services in 16 languages. And to become a certified birth doula, our doulas needed to complete 16 hours of training. And for both programs, we like to pair the doulas up with their clients based on the language, culture, and/or religion of the client. And if you have any questions about our doula programs, we will be having a Q&A session with our 2 community-based doulas and a birth doula towards the end of the presentation. So we offer these services free of charge to individuals and families in the community. We do not bill any of their insurance, nor do we charge them. And in order to provide these services to our low-income immigrant and refugee community, our programs have some eligibility requirements. Both programs require that the client has about 2 or more of the following requirements. They are a Medicaid, WIC, Public Health Nursing, or GSHS benefits recipient. The client is a single parent or the parents do not have additional family support. The client is an immigrant or a refugee. The client has a high-risk pregnancy. The client is a domestic violence victim, and or the client is attempting to have a vaginal birth after cesarean. The main differences for the requirements of these 2 programs are that for the community-based doula program, clients need to be 28 weeks or 6 months of pregnancy or less of the referral date. And then for the birth doula program, clients need to be 29 weeks or 7 months of pregnancy or more as of the referral date. And doulas will work with clients during different stages of the pregnancy and postpartum, such as before childbirth. The doulas will meet with the client during the 2nd or 3rd trimester to get acquainted, and they'll help the client develop a birth plan. They'll teach the client relaxation and breathing techniques, and they'll answer the client's questions about the birthing process. And also they'll help the client understand the labor and delivery process and procedures and possible complications that may occur. During childbirth, the doula will stay with the client and provide continuous comfort and support. They'll use touch and massage techniques to help the client relax and rest. They'll help the client get into comfortable positions, and they'll help the client get proper nutrition and fluids. And something that I really love about our doulas is that they're an advocate for the client, and they make sure that the client's preferences and birth plan are implemented and addressed to the medical staff. After childbirth, doulas will teach the client how to care for the baby, assist with breastfeeding education, provide support and encouragement for bringing the baby home, and support other members of the family and teach them how to help the client during this time. And finally, doulas will make sure that the client gets plenty of rest, eats, and stays hydrated. And now I'll pass it to Neha.
Thanks, Denise. So our second program solely focuses on the development of the child, and the main way we assess this development is through the ASQ3 screening. So ASQ3 stands for Ages and Stages version 3, and it's a simple set of questions about a child's development. And these questionnaires look at how the child is doing in areas such as language, movement, and social skills. And ASQ3 can help identify your child's strengths as well as any areas of challenge. And early detection and intervention of possible developmental delays have a really positive impact on health outcomes. So in order to participate in the ASQ screening, we have 3 requirements that the family or the child has to meet. So the first is that the family must be a King County resident. Second is that they must be either a first generation or immigrant themselves or a refugee. And the third is that the child must be 5 years old or younger. So the first step is that administrators go out into their own communities and educate families on why ASQ is beneficial, what it is, as well as what resources they can get if their child has a developmental delay. This outreach is typically done by talking to past doula clients, going into common places of gathering like churches, community centers, parks, etc. However, due to the pandemic, this type of outreach has been difficult. So our outreach strategies have changed for the time being so that we're more focused on organization-based outreach. So currently we are reaching out to organizations that have that are already serving the immigrant and or refugee population. After that is when we do our virtual screenings. So after families are interested in the ASQ screening, the administrators will set up a time to administer the screening over video chat. And this screening normally takes about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many distractions there are or how focused the child is. And this video chat is conducted in the client's preferred language. And then afterwards, the client receives a $30 Safeway gift card for each child they have screened as a compensation for their time. So if a child is slightly lagging in their development, administrators will provide families with a PDF of activities that they can easily incorporate into their daily lives. And this helps aid in strengthening skills that the child might be lacking in. And these activities are super simple. So for example, if you have an 8-month-old who is maybe struggling a bit with communication, a really simple activity is when you go to the grocery store, talk to your child about what they're seeing. Maybe, for example, let them hold an apple and then point out signs that like say, oh, apples, and then they make that connection between the sign verbally and then also what they're holding in their hand. So this is the recommendation that we give if a child is only slightly lagging behind. If a child is really lagging, then our admins refer them to the ESTET hotline if they're under 3 years old and they're connected with a specialist. So for example, if you're having motor issues, they might connect you to a physical therapist, and this is all done at no cost to the family. If they're over 3, then we can't guarantee that they can get connected to a specialist, but we can do some outreach with other organizations to see what resources we can get them. And then after that, the last step is to rescreen the child. This is typically not done if a child screened out perfectly fine. However, parents can always request that their child is rescreened. And this is also typically not done if the child was referred to a specialist, because the specialist can use their own judgment to see if the child is developing on time. So this is typically done for kids who were lagging a bit in their previous screening, and that administrator gave families some activities to work on with the child, and now the family wants to see if the child is developing on track. So other than ASQ, we offer other programs. One of them is lactation support. We do have a separate lactation service we provide free of charge to members of the community. Faisa Farole, our executive director, is also a licensed midwife and a certified lactation counselor. So she provides the one-on-one sessions. So for our lactation service, clients can either come in and schedule a visit in our office, or they can do Zoom sessions. And additionally, FISA also assists in a weekly virtual lactation lounge. Additionally, through very generous donations from the community, GPS receives new and gently used baby items that are available to all community members based on what we have in our office. So some of these items might include diapers, baby wipes, baby bottles, cribs, strollers, baby carriers, car seats, toys, baby clothes, diaper rash cream, and much more. In addition to that, we also have 2 support groups set up for parents that occur weekly. So this support group was created as a direct result from the pandemic. There were a lot of parents that felt that they needed extra support during that time. One of them is Mom's Corner, which meets every Saturday, and the other is the Father to Father support group, which meets every Friday. And these are spaces for mothers and fathers to get together, share ideas, as well as learn from one another. And we have found that this is especially important during the pandemic because a lot of parents have found themselves feeling isolated. And then also there's a lot of pressure and stress that comes with homeschooling their child. A few of these The topics that we cover are preconception counseling, what is lead, why is it bad, Parkinson's disease, the importance of iron, health, wellness, and beauty. So as you can see, these topics do vary a lot, and it's based on what the parents want to cover. So I'll pass it to Denise so she can talk more about the milestones that GPS has made in the past year.
Thanks, Neha. And I also included in the chat those Zoom links for the support groups and also the lactation lounge for anyone who's interested. So you can feel free to join or share with the people in your community or the clients that you serve. 2020 was a tough year for many people. GPS saw an increase of number of individuals and families who needed our services. And with that, we were able to serve more families than before. We have another poll for you guys. Let me pull that up. All right. The question is, how many kids has GPS screened with the ASQ questionnaire since the start of 2021? Is it A, 28, B, 39, C, 57, D, 76, or E, 91? And I'll give you about 45 seconds to think about your answer and submit one. All right, everyone has like about 15 more seconds to answer. If you haven't submitted your answer yet. All right, so I'll end polling and share the results. Thank you for everyone who submitted an answer. So the correct answer was D, 76. All right. Can we go to the next slide, please, Neha? Thank you. So this slide shows a glimpse of the number of families and services we were able to provide in 2020. GPS had 866 either home or virtual visits to families utilizing doula services. Our team distributed 600 bags of fresh produce to families in need in 2020, and we also had 200 families that received baby items from us, and that includes diapers, wipes, clothes in 2020. Additionally, there are some things you can expect from GPS in 2021, and that includes expanding support to more perinatal programs, to expand our services to our growing population needing longer-term support by hiring additional community-based doulas. Also continue to collaborate and connect with other community-based organizations. And lastly, working with the Doulas for All Coalition to pass a bill to let doula work be reimbursable and through Medicaid. And more recently, GPS supported expanding the postpartum coverage from Medicaid for those who have Medicaid beyond the original 60 days to up to a year. And that has been passed as of a few weeks ago. And there's some different ways you can get involved with GPS. One, you can let your community know about GPS. You can let people you know in your community, the clients that you work with, family, friends who might be interested in doula services, child development screenings, and other resources like if they're in need of diapers, wipes, or other baby clothes. You can also volunteer or donate any baby items. You can sign up for our quarterly newsletter on our website. And you can also follow and stay connected with GPS through our social media. And so this slide just shows the different ways you can reach out to us. You can check out our website at globalperinatal.org or email us at info@globalperinatal.org. You can check out our Instagram at Global Perinatal Services, or you can give us a call at 206-679-0782.
So now we are at the Q&A portion of our seminar, and we've brought 3 members from our team, Yasmine, Asia, and Tayler, to answer any questions you might have on the day-to-day of being a doula or ASQ administrator. Yasmine and Asia are our 2 community-based doulas and have been with GPS for about 2 years now. And Tayler was a previous GPS client who is now serving as a birth doula and ASQ administrator. And she's been with GPS for about a year now. So please feel free to unmute yourself or add any questions you may have in the chat. So while we're waiting, we do have a couple of questions that were asked before the session started. One of them was, what is the most rewarding thing about being a doula? So if either Yasmine, Asia, or Tayler want to answer that.
Sure. I think I will take that. Or
Sorry.
ladies, you can also check in. Hi, I'm Asia, and I'm a community-based birth doula with GPS, as Denise and Neha explained earlier. The most rewarding thing of being a doula is being there for the mom throughout or during perinatal periods, and also helping her navigate the hospital system and trying to support the mom, the whole family. It's not just the mom that we worked with as a community-based doulas. We take care of the whole family. Whenever the mom needs to make her pregnancy easier, whether it is connecting her to resources for housing, from housing to anything in between, and calling the doctors for her if she has some questions, or communicating through the midwife, and also during labor and delivery, which is very, as many of you know, very precious. It could be very intense time for some moms, and if they have, especially if they have complications. So just seeing the outcome after the mom gives birth is very rewarding to me, and that's why I love being a doula, just helping the mom and be there for her throughout this precious time.
Asia or Tayler, did you want to add on to that?
Hi everyone, my name is Tayler. I'm a birth doula, and I also just started becoming an ASQ admin, which I really love as well. I love being a doula. It's such a joy helping mothers through their pregnancy period, during their labor, and even afterwards. I build relationships with these women and their families. They continue to, reach out to me even as their baby grows older with questions of, about their diet, or how to make, more breast milk, or sleeping patterns, anything. And it's just really been a joy to help the community. So I'm very honored to be a part of GPS.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Yasmine Mohammed. I am the community-based doula. I work with also with Asia and Denise and Neha. Um, I would say the most rewarding is what Asia and Taylor already said, but it's the important thing is when, especially when you're like the first mom and you have no idea what's going to happen or how the pregnancy will go. When they will call you with questions and you're there to support them, that's the rewarding because I remember when I was pregnant the first time and I had no idea what was going on with my body, and they get panic, and before they go to the doctor or the ER, is always good to have somebody that you can call and you ask that question, and we're here to support them and say, that's not emergency, that's normal, that's guide them and support them, and it's rewarding to help pregnant women. And I really enjoy, like, it even helps me build my character. It humbles you. It's very rewarding, and it's an inspiration to be able to help women and give back to the community. So I'm glad to be here today. Thanks for having me. Thanks to be part of GPS.
So another question is, what's the biggest challenge about being a doula during the pandemic?
This is Taylor again. This question for me, it's been really challenging, just sometimes not being allowed in the delivery room, especially if there's a reason for a C-section. I haven't been able to go into the room. It's usually just the father, and so that's been a struggle. I've done a lot of virtual doulaing during this time, and it's just very different. You don't get to hold the mothers, you don't get to comfort them and rub their feet and encourage them in person, but still being able to be there during video, or making the home visits but wearing a mask has been difficult, and showing them how to breastfeed and things like that. But it's not forever, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to be back in the rooms, because when I started being a doula, there would be multiple doulas in one room supporting a mother, and that was really joyful for me, because you could tag team with another doula, and it just really uplifted the mom even more. So I'm really hoping one day we could go back to that.
Yeah, as Taylor said, it's been a struggle, especially last year, the beginning of the pandemic. That was really hard. Not being able to go see the mom in person at their house, just using video. Some of the moms' technology is not their thing, so it was very challenging in the beginning of the pandemic, and not being able to go with her in the clinic, or even in labor delivery. But as things got better, it became a little bit easier. As community-based doulas, now we're able to go in with the mom. She has some hospitals, she has 2 support person that can come in. That is awesome. So you have the husband or the partner that can come with her, and then you have the doula, so that we can go in. But the biggest challenge is, like, when we go in, we can't come out. If birth takes like 3 days, we can't come out. We have to pack our packs and be ready for whatever, to be in the hospital for at least 2-3 days. So that's the biggest challenge for me, where before I would come home for a couple hours, change, take a shower. If mom is still not the phase that she's ready to deliver, so, and then get some chai or Somali tea with me, and even share it with the clients and get some food. But now that's been the hardest thing for me. Yeah, just longer you go in, you can't come out until the baby's born, and that's, yeah.
Same here. Like Asia said, I think my biggest challenge was not able to get out the hospital rooms and even to get a coffee or anything. I mean, even if you bring food, you can warm it up like they used to. You can use their microwave. Is the biggest one, yeah, is the hospital. And I'll say even not able to go into clients' home like we used to, you know, sit down with them, show them how to breastfeed. And just, you know, when you're a new mom, I mean, you have a baby, you always need somebody to come in and talk to you. It's kind of like a therapy. So yeah, I miss that. I think that's something that we can, you know, hopefully we can get back to. And even holding the baby for the mom so she can take a shower or whatever and feel comfortable, you know. Yeah, it's challenging, but hopefully we'll get through it.
And then the last question is, what is a day in the life of a doula look like?
Um, that is a question that have multiple answers depending on what day it is. As a mom of three, you know, a day of being doula is like you get call from your client, hey, I'm in labor, I'm going to the hospital. You drop everything, like, you know, okay, pack your bag should be ready anyways, but just get out of the door and meet your client right away at the hospital or at the birth center. So it could go from being okay in the morning, you having all this kind of plans, you know, I'm gonna do this with the kids, this is what's gonna happen, and then boom, everything else is not happening. You're going to birth, and that's it. That's what's happening. So yeah, it's very rewarding. I kind of enjoy that spontaneous birth or just dropping everything and just being going. It's very rewarding. And we can't do it without our husbands or partners, by the way. It's hard when you're a doula. Yeah, you need a support person yourself as a doula. So if you don't have that person, then it's hard for you to do your job. You have to arrange for babysitting and all this stuff.
That is so true, Asia. I don't know what we do without husbands because they, you know, pick up that duty and finish it up for you. So for me, I would say keep your phone with you 24 hours because you never know when you're going to get that call.
Yes, I agree with them as well. I'm a mom of many, and you just never know when the mom will go into labor. It could be in the middle of the night, or anytime. And so it's just having a support system and being able to, you know, be on call at any moment, and committing to these mothers and their families. And you know, even if I'm not at a birth, I constantly receive texts or emails like, oh, can you help me with this, or, you know, I need this, or just anything, any question about anything. You know, I'm worried about my blood pressure, or, you know, what should I eat to get more breast milk or anything. So it's a constant thing, and it's so rewarding as well. So yeah, just always having a support system, I say, is definitely a necessity.
So true.
Okay, great. So this is the end of our session. Thank you, Asia, Yasmine, and Tayler for being on our doula panel. And thank you everyone for joining our session. We hope that this was very informational for you, and we hope that you guys have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.